He is an absolute steal, as we are going to be diving in and looking at Grayson Allen on an article written by Bleacher Report, valuing him as one of the best contracts in the NBA. So, what if James Jones has been cooking up for this Suns team, and how will Grayson Allen fit into Mike Budenholzer's offense in a big role this year with this new revamped Suns squad? All of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I'm Bruce Velez. Before we dive in, before we get into all this news, though, you guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support on the channel. But 79% of you guys who watch the videos are not subscribed. So if you want to make sure you get all the news, all the little tidbits heading into the season this year, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's dive into the topic at hand. Make sure to grab a snack. And like we mentioned, Grayson Allen is an absolute steal, and we're going to be diving into this Bleacher Report article, which furthermore backs up that point. Now, this article was written by Eric Pincus from Bleacher Report, and we're going to be ranking the 12 best NBA contracts right now. And this article was written just a couple of days ago, but he has Grayson Allen ranked as the sixth best valued contract across the entire NBA, saying that Grayson Allen, who led the NBA last season at a 46.1% from three-point range. Phoenix obviously missed him in the playoffs by getting swept by the Timberwolves, but they lost him in a poorly timed ankle injury, which was contributed to that. Allen, who's only 28, signed a 4-year extension in April, which is netting him $70 million, but around $17.5 million on average for a starter, an elite shooter with secondary playmaking skills, given how heavy this Suns payroll is. Landing Allen on a quality contract is a must. And I totally agree. He brought so much shooting and nice actual perimeter spacing for this squad that it was definitely needed. With having Booker, with having Beal kind of being those playmakers, being those setters up for this team, that last season, they definitely needed that shooting spark from Grayson Allen. And with having them being not, they are solid playmakers, can run an offense as we've all saw, but not the best at doing that. And with their new additions of Monte Morris and Tyus Jones, that will definitely allow them to be more scorers and allow them to, free up their game a little bit. And with Frank Vogel being a defensive-minded coach, maybe not necessarily knowing how this Suns offensive trio will really work, I think Mike Budenholzer is a fantastic replacement. Now, we already saw Grayson Allen shine with Frank Vogel, and I think he's going to step up his game even more playing with Budenholzer. If you look at Grayson Allen's stats, kind of clicked it a little too early, but you guys can see, averaged around 13.5 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 3 assists last season on basically 50% from the field, 46% from three-point range, which was the league's best from three-point at 20 years old, shooting 47% from corner threes. Now, Allen has obviously had his run around the league, has played on a couple of teams, trying to find his spot. And with Phoenix, he has inked that long-term deal and definitely secured himself a spot with this team for the future. As we know, the Suns want to contend. They want to be a top-tier team, and they feel from the front office to this coaching staff all the way to the players that this team is a squad that can go deep in the playoffs and can win in the playoffs. We just saw Devin Booker and Kevin Durant absolutely look amazing with Team USA, and I definitely think they can bring that type of energy and translate that with this new revamped roster. Like I said, Tyus Jones on a very minimum contract, he's coming to prove it this year. Monte Morris coming on a veteran contract, he wants to be a standout backup point guard again. Mason Plumlee coming over, he wants to be solid. These new rookies and Oso Iguodala and Ryan Dunn, they want to make their roles impacted. They want to show them that to the Suns organization that they were right on drafting them. So I'm really, really loving what this Suns team is going to bring. And I 100% agree with Bleacher Report. Like we mentioned, Grayson Allen definitely brought that three-point shooting that the Suns desperately needed last season, and he's going to continue to bring that three-point shooting this year. Fortunately, like we mentioned, he did get that untimely injury, which, did set the Suns back a little bit, and it clearly showed with their roster last season and in the playoffs with losing Grayson Allen. But I think this year he's going to be a major addition, and I can't wait to see what he brings if he's a starter, if he comes off the bench, and that's what kind of we're going to get to the next part. So let me know what you guys think about Grayson Allen. How do you guys feel about him? I personally think it is a fantastic, fantastic move if the Suns have him locked up for the future. Next, we're going to kind of dive into what role he brings to the team this year, because obviously we saw Grayson Allen be a starter last year with this Suns roster playing that 3 spot. And kind of going into the season, it was kind of anticipating that he was going to retain that starting three spot. It kind of was before the Tyus Jones signing, after Monte Morris signed, after Mason Plumlee signed, after some things had quieted down and the Suns fans kind of, like myself and CJ, thought we were done making moves. We kind of did our predictions with some starting lineups. And CJ and I had kind of gone over, is it going to be Grayson Allen? Is it going to be Royce O'Neal? Who's really going to get that spot? And there were a lot of, toss-ups and considerations for that. Now, with Tyus Jones being on this team, we already know that Tyus Jones is going to be a starter. And a lot of people have proposed maybe Bradley Beal comes off the bench, but I don't think at the start of the season, right off the get, a player making $50 million and a player that they gave up a lot of draft capital to get is going to come off the bench. So a guy in Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, who we saw play some small ball three with Team USA, definitely going to be playing that role this year. This year, alongside Tyus Jones, Kevin Durant, and Yusuf Nurkic. I don't believe that we'll see a guy in Grayson Allen in the starting lineup this season. I think that he's going to be that sharpshooter off the bench, that first guy kind of to go alongside Royce O'Neal, alongside Mason Plumlee, alongside Monte Morris, alongside Josh Kogan, maybe alongside Iguodala or Ryan Dunn, whoever they want to throw out there. But ultimately, I think that he's going to be in that second unit, definitely the sixth man for this squad. And who knows? Maybe throughout the season, depending on some lineups, they throw Grayson Allen out there. If there's an injury, I'm sure Grayson Allen will be the first one called off the bench, thrown in that starting lineup because he can realistically play that two role. He can play that three role, unless it's a big man role, obviously getting taken out. If any of those guards get hurt, they'll throw Grayson Allen into that starting lineup. If it's Tyus Jones, they'll run the two guards, throw him at the three. If it's Beal Booker, they'll literally replace him with that said player. They will figure out a way to get Grayson Allen integrated, and that's, I think, definitely necessary. Now, with this second unit, I think he's going to be that top-notch scorer. Like we mentioned, my kind of prediction for the second unit at this very moment would be Monte Morris. I think Josh Okogie kind of gets the start right away at that starting 2/3, wherever you want to play him and Grayson Allen. They're going to be those 2 3s, and then you're going to look at the legs of Mason Plumlee and a Bull slash Oso Iguodala to kind of come off the bench at that backup 4/5. A 9-10 man rotation, I think that's fair. Now, obviously, throughout the season, we could see with competition, I think that Josh Okogie and Ryan Dunn are kind of competing for a similar spot. I think Oso Gordaro, Bol, and Mason Plumlee are kind of competing for that backup 4/5 slot. And ultimately, I think that Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen are competing for that top shooter off the bench. I think that Grayson Allen's going to win that over Royce O'Neal. I think Royce O'Neal will be kind of more that defensive kind of defender for the Phoenix Suns ultimately. But if he can get that 3-point shot back, maybe he can rise into that competition with Grayson Allen. But ultimately, Grayson Allen, I see him being the sixth man off this Suns team right off the get. And who knows, with some injuries, or maybe if they want to teeter some of things, they're going in a different direction, losing some games, want to shake it up. Maybe they yank Bradley Beal and they throw Grayson Allen in there for that 3-point shooting if it's necessarily needed. Now, ultimately, with having Tyus Jones, I think that 3-point volume is going to be there, especially with Budenholzer running this offense. I think he's going to want to get more offensive schemes get in there. And I think we're going to see Grayson Allen take another step as well, especially in this six-man role where he can play against, not the starters. We saw him put up 14 points against starters. Let's see him go up against some second units. Maybe he can start averaging 17, 18 points, getting that clip a little bit higher on that shooting percentage. I'd be absolutely ecstatic. But let me know what you guys think down below. How are you guys feeling about Grayson Allen? Do you guys think he's a steal of a contract? Where do you think he's going to fit in a role with this Sun squad? Where do you guys see him kind of standing out? And how do you think how do you think his year is going to be? Drop down your thoughts in the comments. I love reading your guys' thoughts. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Suns Digest. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Like we were preaching, 1,500 of you have already hit that subscribe button, which is absolutely fantastic. And we're going to set a new goal of 2,000 subscribers before the season starts. So hit that subscribe button. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your day. And go Phoenix Suns.